Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I thought I would do another pregnancy update because I am a bit further along now. I think the previous videos, you've kind of seen them one after the other because I filmed them weeks ago, so I just posted them all at once. But I am now, much further along than I was in those videos. So today I'm 14 weeks and 6 days, so I'm gonna be 15 weeks tomorrow. I didn't film a 10-week or 11-week update because, to be honest, it was pretty much the same as what I said in my video at 9 weeks. Just intense nausea, all of that, and to be honest, it got even worse. Like during week 10 and 11, I was just so bad with the nausea and the morning sickness, and I just didn't feel like filming much, to be honest. So I just took it slow, and I am pleased to say that now that I'm 14 weeks, I'm finally feeling better. Like I can eat more, I feel like I'm craving more things and just kind of have an increased appetite, which is great. Yeah, I do still get nausea here and there. Like I wouldn't say it's completely gone, but it's definitely a lot better. I still have my aversions to pepperoni. I cannot stomach that. I'm not sure if I'll ever be able to eat pepperoni again, to be honest. I have a bit of aversion to tomato sauce, for example. I feel like if it's not a lot on pasta, I'm fine with it, but if it's like a full-on tomato-y thing, I can't really stomach that right now. I haven't had any like intense cravings, but I did kind of have a fruit craving. Like I really want to eat a lot of fruit lately, which I think is great. Yeah, but I do think in the first trimester I had a lot of plain foods like pasta and just bread with things, like a little sandwich here and there, just things like that, because I really struggled in the first trimester, so I'm so happy to be feeling better now. And by the way, excuse my voice if you can hear that, because I'm just getting over a cold. I had a cold over a week ago now, and it's still kind of lingering a bit in my throat, and it's just a bit annoying because obviously when you're pregnant you can't really take much. So yeah, I have a congested nose at night, which is so annoying, and I can't use a spray or anything. So what can you do? I think it's gonna be a long winter, to be honest, because Victor's gonna bring all the colds and sickness bugs from school to home, so it's gonna be interesting. But I'm just trying to ride it out at the moment. I did have a bit of temperature in the beginning of this cold, which kind of freaked me out a bit because I've never had this when I was pregnant with Victor, with my son. I've never had a cold or anything. I don't remember having that. So I did get a bit of temperature. It was kind of a lower grade temperature, but when I noticed it was going a bit higher, then I took some paracetamol because I know you can take that. Yeah, my midwife said that's fine. Yeah, so I took paracetamol 2 times, and then my fever was gone, so that was good. But yeah, still kind of lingering, which is a bit annoying. Oh, I also have some really cute scan pictures to show you in a little bit, and I'm also going to show you my bump. I took a video a few days ago, but yeah, so I did have my first midwife appointment as well. I think I'm just going to try to catch you up on everything that's been going on since my previous update. So I had my midwife appointment around 10 weeks or so of pregnancy, I think. It's just kind of that first booking in appointment. It was really long, like over an hour long, because we had to go through all of the history, and I do have obviously quite a bit of history with pregnancy losses and miscarriage and everything like that. So yeah, that was quite a bit. She also took like I think 6 vials of blood, which was insane. But yeah, I guess that's just what they do. They also did urine tests, but that's just what they do at the booking in appointment. So I had all of that done. I'm also seeing a consultant aside from the midwife because I have a few risk factors, because of everything that went on with my previous pregnancies. If you don't know, I will link down below my video that I did on our secondary infertility kind of journey. Yeah, so because of all of that, and also because I had a C-section last time with my son, my pregnancy at the moment is considered high risk. Like there's nothing wrong, going on with it. It's just because of all of those factors, they kind of monitor you a bit more intensely, I guess. So I'm gonna have extra growth scans for this baby, and then I'm also gonna have extra consultant appointments, which is fine. I actually kind of like that, to be honest, because going through all of those losses, it kind of gives me a peace of mind to be seen more often and to have an opportunity to ask more questions. And yeah, just kind of getting those extra growth scans is really nice. I think normally you only have a 12-week scan and a 20-week scan on the NHS. They booked me in for some extra ones. obviously because of these risk factors. So I'm gonna have another one at 16 weeks, and then I'm not sure after that. I think I have the 20-week one, and then 28-week and 36 or something like that. So they booked me in a few extra scans because of that, which I'm kind of happy about, because I like seeing, you know, that the pregnancy is progressing, that everything's going well. That's always nice and reassuring. One thing that I found hard at the midwife appointment, I mean even before that, but when I went, I think it was even more so. Like, I teared up when I was there, and the midwife was amazing. She was really lovely. You know, she said it's completely normal to feel like this. I mean, I think anybody would, anybody who's gone through something like this. But you know, you have to fill in all of these forms, and they ask you a whole bunch of questions on your history, obviously. And so you have to fill in this form where you have to answer how many pregnancies you've had and how many live births, like live babies. I had to kind of think about this for a second, but I realized this is my 6th pregnancy. So I had 5 previous pregnancies. One ended up in, obviously, my son, so that one went well, and then the other 4 we lost. And I think just kind of seeing that number on paper, like 5 pregnancies and 1 live baby, it was just kind of a lot to take in. Like, it made me feel really emotional thinking about that. So I think just kind of seeing that number on paper is kind of really hits hard, you know. But yeah, the midwife was amazing, and she was asking, you know, how I'm feeling, obviously with mental health and everything, because this is a really hard journey. I think I'm doing good. Like, I feel like my anxiety was quite intense in that first trimester, which, I mean, I think it's understandable because I had, obviously, my miscarriage I had at 13 weeks. So I feel like all the way up to that point I was very nervous. I was very nervous something was going to happen, and kind of going past that point, now that I'm nearly 15 weeks, it kind of feels like a bit of a, you know, like I can take a breath now. And I don't think that anxiety is fully going to go away until I hold this baby in my arms, to be honest. But I do feel like it's getting better now that I'm kind of, you know, a bit further along. I'm just kind of going through my list because I wrote things down throughout the weeks of what has been going on. So I have been feeling so tired, which is not like me. Like, when I'm not pregnant, I'm not usually this tired, and I have to take naps. Like, I try to sneak in a nap here and there. Obviously, it's not always possible with my son, but sometimes I like snooze a bit for 5 minutes on the sofa, and then he wakes me up quickly. So I don't get much of that anyway. You don't get much of a chance to nap when you already have a child, but that's fine, you know. Yeah, but I also feel a bit guilty because my energy levels are so low, and I don't have the same energy to play with Victor, and, you know, I do try my best to spend as much time as possible with him and still be, you know, be there, but it's just hard because I'm just so tired. So I have been feeling a bit guilty about that because I don't want him to feel kind of left out by any means. So yeah, I have been kind of dealing with that. I do get out of breath really easily, like coming up the stairs, like I went for a run, which I haven't been running, by the way. I know I have been getting a few questions about this because I haven't even posted it on Instagram anymore. I used to post my runs here and there. I haven't been running because it made me feel anxious, and I do get out of breath easily, but also it just kind of made me feel anxious in case I kind of push myself too hard without realizing. So I just switched it to walks instead, just to kind of still try to get, you know, a bit of exercise going on. But I haven't been on runs, and I don't think I will until I have this baby, obviously. One thing that I'm finding hard is putting on weight, which I know some people might think, oh, that's great, but actually I don't think it is, because I'm not underweight. I think I'm just at the limit with my weight. And the thing is, you know, in pregnancy you're obviously supposed to put on weight, but actually in the first trimester I lost a bit, like half a kilogram, which is not ideal. But I think it's because of that morning sickness. It was just so intense. I was finding it so hard to eat anything. So yeah, now that I'm in the second trimester and I'm feeling better, I'm trying my best to kind of get more food in and not just, you know, crap snacks, like actual nutritious food. So yeah, weight gain has actually been kind of hard, but I know a lot of women don't really put on much weight in the first trimester anyway, so I'm kind of hoping I'm gonna catch up now that I'm in the second trimester. But one thing I do feel like is my bump has become so obvious already. Like if I wear loose clothing, not so much, but if I wear a tight like top, people can tell, because I've had a few people ask me, oh, are you expecting? So I guess it is getting kind of obvious that I am pregnant by this point, which is crazy, because I remember with my son at this point I think I barely had anything. I think it just looked like a bit of bloat, and with this one I think it's just so much more obvious, especially like during the afternoon after I've had a few meals, you know. So it's kind of half food, half baby, but yeah, I do think it's getting quite big, and none of my jeans, like the usual jeans, fit me anymore. I do have some maternity like leggings and jeans from my previous pregnancies, and I am starting to wear those because I know it's still early and they're still kind of a bit baggy around the top, so I kind of have to fold them down a bit. But I can't wear the regular ones anymore because they're not comfy at all. Like they really dig into my stomach, and I just don't like that. So I had, since I last spoke to you, I had my 8-week scan. At that point I had a private early scan, and since then I've had 2 more scans. So I had one scan at 11 weeks. I actually thought I was 10 weeks, but in all of the scans that I've had, the baby has actually measured bigger by 5 days to a week. I know I ovulated early, which is why obviously the baby is bigger, so my pregnancy is actually further along than I thought, and they moved up my due date because of that. But yeah, I wasn't gonna have an 11-week scan, but I did have it because I wanted to have the Nipt genetic testing, just because we did this with Victor as well, and I know chromosomal, you know, abnormalities is one of the big reasons why you would have a miscarriage like I did last time at 13 weeks. So I just kind of wanted to have that peace of mind. So there are a lot of Nipt tests out there, and they generally test for Down syndrome, Edwards syndrome, and Patau, I think. So those 3 are I think the most common ones. So I had that done privately because they don't offer it on the NHS, I think, unless they actually suspect you might have one of those. So I had that done, and they do a scan with the test as well, just to kind of make sure your dates are okay for the test, because it's just a blood test, but you need to be further along than 10 weeks, I believe. And it's just crazy to me that this test basically, you know, takes a vial of your blood, and within your bloodstream you have cells, like DNA cells from the baby. That's crazy to me that you have pieces of your baby kind of running through your bloodstream. Yeah, that's just insane. So I did that test, everything turned low risk. Baby doesn't have any chromosomal abnormalities, which is just amazing. Honestly, it was such a hard, it was a 2-week wait, I believe, from the moment I got the blood test to the moment I got the results, and I was just so nervous because I know it's such a low risk of the baby having that, but I guess after having that miscarriage it kind of made me even more anxious, of course. So it was just such a relief to see that everything is low risk, and yeah, baby's doing great so far. And that test can also actually tell you the gender of the baby if you want to, because I've been getting questions on how I announced the gender so early, because usually I think you can only tell that at a 16-week scan at the earliest, and that's why. It's because we did the blood test. And yeah, so if you haven't watched the gender reveal, we are having a little girl, which we're so excited about. I think, to be honest, I could care less. Like, after going through all of that infertility journey, I could care less if it's a boy or a girl. I just want a healthy baby, and I know everyone says that, but when you go through something like this, it really puts things into perspective, that it really doesn't matter what it is, and it's just such a miracle to be able to have a baby. But yeah, I was just so excited that we get to have a girl as well, and it's just gonna be, I think, a bit of a different experience. So yeah, it is very exciting. And then I also had my dating scan. They usually do it at 12 weeks, but I was already 13 weeks by then, because obviously my baby was measuring bigger, like it was a week ahead. So I'm gonna show you pictures. But yeah, this is what baby girl looks like in there. She was very nice and comfy. She was actually stretching her legs all over the place, and her hand when the sonographer was doing the the scan, she was just like stretching and moving around so much and doing jumps. It was insane to see how much she was moving. Even at the 11-week scan that I did with the genetic testing, they had trouble. They couldn't get a proper picture of her because she was just moving around so much. So yeah, I do have a little picture of it, but it's not much. It's just kind of like a blob moving around because yeah, she is just so active, which is crazy to me because, you know, I can't feel much of anything. I think I'm starting to feel flutters. I'm not sure. Is it possible to feel the baby this early? I'm not sure if that's what I'm feeling, but so yeah, it was really nice to see her moving around. Heartbeat was great. So it was just such a nice reassuring scan for me. I was really nervous going into it because that was the scan where we got like bad news the last time. So that was just very scary to me, to be honest, but everything went well. Baby's doing great, so that just made me feel so much better. So they did move up my due date because obviously baby is measuring a week ahead. So they moved up my date. My due date is 31st of January, so just the end of January. Obviously they don't come on their due date anyway, do they? And to be honest, every morning when I wake up, I kind of look at these apps that I have on my phone, you know, the baby apps that track the pregnancy and how far along you are. And every morning I just feel so grateful that I'm one day ahead, that, you know, I'm progressing and I can tell my baby, you know, and my belly is growing. And also I'm going to be stopping progesterone soon, which is new. So my doctor, I was supposed to have it until 13 weeks-ish, and I was having I think that's the highest dose of progesterone pessaries that they give you, like the 400 milligrams or something. My consultant said she wanted me to take another 2 weeks of progesterone on the lower dose, the 200 one, I guess just to kind of wean it off a bit, not to have such a sudden stop. So that's what I'm on now. I'm on the lower dose for another, I think I have another week or so of those, and then I will be done with progesterone, which I'm honestly a bit nervous of because I know my body really needed it in the beginning. And then I'm also really relieved because I really don't like the pessaries. Like, they're so messy, they're so annoying, and yeah, I'm a bit relieved to get rid of those. So I only have about a week left of that, but I will still be on all of the other things. Like, I'm on thyroid medication, I'm taking the prenatals obviously, and then they also prescribed me iron tablets, and that's new. That's something I actually never had even in my previous pregnancies. So I told my consultant, oh, so my iron levels are low, and she said, no, your iron levels are fine, it's just the iron reserve levels that are getting a bit low. I actually had no idea there's a difference between those two, but apparently you have your iron levels and then you have a reserve, and my iron levels are fine because my body is using the reserve, and so the reserve is getting a bit low, which means you're not technically anemic yet, but you're gonna get to that point if it keeps, you know, going on like this, which I think is really common in pregnancy anyway. But yeah, I've never had this before. I think it's also because I haven't been eating very well during that first trimester, obviously, so that definitely didn't help. So I am on those just to kind of prevent anemia. It's just the lowest dose, I believe, so yeah, I have to take those once a day as well. Yeah, so I'm gonna give you the bump shot that I filmed a few days ago. But yeah, that's about it for me. I can't believe I'm gonna be 15 weeks tomorrow. I'm just so grateful for it, and I'm just so happy to be able to have a baby again. But yeah, I do hope you guys are enjoying these updates, especially if you're pregnant yourself. And I hope you're having a lovely day, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye guys!